Hello and welcome to the MegaMonsterCast. For today, we are talking about Gamera Rebirth, Episode 1, Over Tokyo. I am Nick, with me is Josh.
Hello.
And following the conclusion of Season 1 of Dan, we are going to be covering this for the next few weeks. This was released in, I believe it was 2023, right? About a year ago?
Find that out.
I think it was about a year ago, because I remember seeing this around
2023.
this. Yeah, I remember seeing this pop up on Netflix around this time last year, and I had always meant to watch it, but I just kind of slept on, like, oh, there's something else coming out, there's something else coming out, and there was always something else coming out, like, oh, I've got to finish Blazar, oh, I've got to watch,
Start this better show.
yeah, I've got to watch this other thing, I've got to do X, Y, and Z. Work is getting too stressful, and I just never actually sat down to watch it. So I was happy when we finished up that we had a little bit of a breather time to watch, like, an older show, and not older, like a year-old show, so we don't have that same crunch of trying to hit an episode the week that it comes out, or within a week of coming out.
Yeah, we take this one at our own pace.
Yep.
And then luckily it's only 6 episodes.
Yeah. Which, honestly, I think that's about the right length for a Gamera show. You get, like, a good taste of Gamera, and then it ends, and if you want to watch more, if it was well made, which this first episode is pretty good, awesome. And if you don't care about the humans, that's cool too. Because I know I had trouble with that at times.
Dear God, it's the same thing. Reason why I like everything about Godzilla Earth, but God, the people look like dog shit.
Yeah, this is kind of a style that Netflix's animation company, whatever company they go through, because I think they have a few different ones. This one is rough, in my opinion. And Josh and I were talking about this, messaging each other about this, because you had watched this first, and I know you complained about how this has that style of human characters that I hate, where they look really bad, and it's like 3D animation trying to be 2D animation.
Yeah.
And then second I started watching it, I'm like, oh God, this has the faces that I hate in it. And I was just messaging you that, and we talked about how like Castlevania Ranma 1/2, which is also, they have a new adaptation of that Netflix is putting out.
I was going to be upset if they screwed that up.
Kinnikuman, Kinnikuman, the Perfect Chojin arc, or Perfect Origin arc, I guess. What else was there? Record of Ragnarok, Edge Runners, all had, like, just stellar animation across the board. Like, every one of those looked really, really good. And then I get to this, and I'm like, God, this is really bad looking most of the time.
Just hate the Kaiju ones? Is that it? This Ultraman, Godzilla Earth.
I actually liked the animation style for Ultraman.
The people?
I shouldn't say the movie, not the anime on Netflix, because the anime on Netflix I cannot watch. I have troubles with that. I'll read the manga at some point, and that'll help me get over it. But right now, I cannot get on there and watch it, because it just, something about that style just takes me out of it.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to watch then. And I know the suits look really good in that anime, and I've seen some of the action sequences from it, and those look really good. Like, we'll maybe cover that at some point in the future, but right now,
if they don't make Ultra 7 do war crimes, I'll be out of it.
They give him, like, a shit, like, he gets swords, and he gets, like, giant blades to fight with. Like, that's his gimmick for the anime, is he just has, like, a shit ton of, like, blades to fight with.
But he needs to use them properly.
And they need to, unfortunately, they do not come off of his head, which is the worst crime imaginable.
And I'm out.
Yeah, I don't blame you on that one. You just gotta remember, it's not real. It's someone's imagination.
Oh, well, their imagination sucks.
Yep. Anyway, back to Gamera. So
Yeah.
this episode, again, there's a lot of good stuff in it storytelling wise. It's just the humans take me out of it, like in a real bad way, where I cannot quite. I don't. Again, it's tough. The human part is going to be the toughest part for this, just because they don't look very good. And I
They don't
imagine if
look
this was
good.
like,
They're not animated well.
and I imagine if this was done using like an older traditional style of animation, this would look so good.
Yeah.
Because like all the stuff they're setting up in like the character models are not bad. It's just they shouldn't be in 3D, and because of that, they look weird. They look kind of plasticky almost, like not plasticky, but you know what I'm saying, like.
Oh, you're right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we get like our main character Bogo on the beach, and
Loco, no Pico.
yeah, buy one get one. No, he's gonna be our main character as far as I can tell. I know you've watched farther than I have, but
Yeah, I'm on the last episode.
okay. Yeah, no, he seems like he's the main character, and he's calling in on some sort of transponder to mission control. Um, in the opening, we get a lot of like what the first episode is about, which I mean, hey, cool, whatever. But I think it kind of spoils a lot of the scenes from this first episode by showing us that, and it looks like it's not just the first episode they're doing that for. Like, it looks like they used a lot of, like, they just took animation from a bunch of the episodes and threw it together to make the opening sequence.
They did.
Which is such
Lazy.
Yeah, like, we've had a bunch of really good opening sequences lately, like really, really good. And I know that, like, for a while there, I felt like I was a broken record, just raving over how good they were. Because for the last 3 anime that we've watched for this channel, we started with Kaiju number 8, which had an amazing opening sequence. Moved into Chainsaw Man, another great opening sequence. We had our Dan to Dan for a while now, which amazing opening sequence. And now we get this, and it's just recycled animation, and it's so disappointing when we had such a good run for so long of like really, really good animation, you know?
Yeah.
And like I can't complain too much. Like I knew what I was getting myself into when I started watching this, because I knew that like within the first couple seconds of it, like, okay, this feels kind of cheaper. Like I'm sure we'll get some good fights out of it, but everything else, like right now I'm looking at the scene where they're like zooming in on like a hole in the ground, and all that looks so good too. This animation looks fantastic when it's not people. Like the way it moves in, and the way like we get this like forested area, and it gets closer, and like even when they're in the hazmat suits, they look good. When they're like
I will
a
say
little bit
they
away,
look well.
it's when they get too close that they start looking bad, you know?
Well, there's a shot where, like, they look decent far away, and they're still far away, but you could see their face through the
Yeah.
hazmat suit, and even that looks fucking horrible.
Yeah.
And it's something I complained about before we started recording. Of just a shot of one of the main characters in a vehicle, speaking, talking, and it's just all that, just still nothing's moving.
Yep. No, it has a real problem with characters in general just look bad, and I don't know. I kind of want to. I'm not gonna have. I don't think Alex is gonna watch this with us. I think this is just gonna be the anime you and I watch. But I want him to look at these characters and try to justify what they look like, because I know he doesn't get bothered by this style as much as I do.
We'll probably just have to get a bunch of screen grabs and just torture him with it.
See, I don't think you can do it with screen grabs. I think you have to do it with like actually seeing clips instead. Because I think this looks fine if you stop. Like, I pause it, it looks good. I start it up, it looks bad. I pause it, and it looks fine. I start it up, they start moving, and it looks bad again.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yep. I pause it, and it looks. I mean, like, there's a couple of like the one kid's hair is a little bit of a weird choice, but whatever. It looks fine when I pause it, and it's the second I start it up again where that starts to look bad. It's them in motion, and it's the fact that they have to move that really is of detriment to this. Anyway, though, so we are now in a town, and we are with our three main characters. We are with Boko, Junichi, and Joe, who Boko is the one we had
That
at...
is named after that one anime.
Awful. Yep. So Boko is one of the one we got from the opening, and he was talking to Joe through the transponder. So we know these three are important, but he and Joe are probably the more important of the three.
Oh.
And Junichi, the third, is going to be a little... I could be wrong. That's what I'm getting the impression of, just by the fact that he talks to Joe right away on the transponder, but not Junichi.
Yes. But they're still more important than some other characters.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I know that the bully is going to stick around, because based off of the intro...
be best friends. There's a subplot that it's probably not meant to be how it seemed, but it definitely seemed like how it seemed.
Okay. We also find out that Boko can't ride a bike, so he has to ride on the back of Joe's bike. Again, looks fine when I pause it. It's when they're actually moving and trying to talk that it looks so bad. And it bothers me how bad it looks when they're in motion.
Oh,
like, sometimes
God.
it looks okay far away, and, like, the environments all look really good.
Yeah, and, like, we'll get here soon. Like, the kaiju movements look great.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, they look fantastic. A little bit, like, there's a tiny bit of claymation feel to it, but, like, in a good way.
Yeah, you really get that with the flying ones.
Yeah, they especially had that feel to me. But again, it works for them. It doesn't work for people, in my opinion. And maybe it's just because, like, with the kaiju, I don't feel like it's trying to emulate old animation, but with the people, they're still trying to look like old animation, like old anime. And I think that's where it really fails, because it's trying too hard to be like that.
Yeah. And, like, I rather watch older anime anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love that style. And this hurts. This hurts me.
Yeah. Like, again, there's stuff on Netflix right now that Netflix is putting out that I think is really good and does animation very well. Like, again, Kinnikuman had great animation. Ranma has really, really good animation. I know I'm farther along in that one than you are right now, but there's some stuff, like, especially like the introduction for Shampoo, so well done.
Oh, I'm so ready for Shampoo to reappear.
Yep. Then let's see, what else was there? Edge Runners. I mean, like, award-winning show. Like, there's good stuff they have on here. It's just it's just they're trying to do the 3D thing, which I get, especially with, like, Kaiju. It looks cool to have them in 3D, but if you're putting a lot of focus on the humans don't look good in 3D. You need to work for that just as much as you work for the Kaiju looking good, because we spend a lot more time with the humans.
And we're going to get a lot more people going forward.
Oh, I saw there were characters in the opening I didn't recognize, really, so...
Yep.
Like, I know we're going to get a lot of that stuff, and I'm not looking forward to seeing what they choose to do with it. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, so they're at their little headquarters, and they've saved up enough money they can get a transponder so that they can like talk to each other.
Yeah, because Boko's going away.
Yeah, he's gonna go to school someplace else where he can get a better education away from them.
Yeah, because as we'll find out later, his mother is a bit of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
And not a nice lady at all.
Yeah, that's the impression she's trying to put out there. Also, I'm happy you tagged Alex in that.
Yep. I finally found it. I was like, it's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They also want to set up a giant antenna, which I'm going to be honest. At that point, you're taking airwaves. Someone is going to show up and take your antenna down.
No, it's going to be disguised as a tree.
Just one day they walk outside and there's like 6 dudes from the government with flamethrowers burning down the forest. Something is jamming our frequencies and we need to get rid of it now. It's either this or we trust that Gamera is not a menace.
Good thing we're the government and we'll never come to that conclusion.
Yep. That'll totally never happen. Anyway, they get outside of their base and they find a turtle trapped in the roots of a tree in low tide, so it's stuck there and it might die. So
what kind of turtle is it?
It's a Gamera.
Oh my god, it's a baby Gamera.
Yeah. It's gonna be a thing that Master Roshi rides on in the Dragon Ball anime.
But Gamera is a tortoise that turns into a sea turtle when it flies.
Yes. It is many things.
Okay, now let's go with this. Is it biomechanical?
It's powered by belief. The belief of all children, of whom it is friend
created
to.
By the Atlanteans.
Yes. But it is powered by the belief of all children, of whom all children it is friends of.
It is the friend of all children.
And it does protect the universe through the power of friendship.
It does drive a white van.
It does offer children as much candy as they want if they hang out with him.
Just like the opening theme song states.
Yeah. Like, I'll say this, the turtle looks good. If you haven't seen that
video, go watch it, crowd. That is hilarious.
Yep. I'm going to say this, the turtle looked good, too.
Oh, the turtle looked great.
Yeah, so they save it because it's at low tide right now, but they also have to be careful about getting stuck in the mud because if they get stuck and high tide comes, they'll drown. So they get stuck, and then they fight to get out, save the turtle. And Junichi makes fun of them and then falls in the mud, so they all three smell bad, because it's probably poop.
It's swamp water.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it smells like coal. Yeah, it smells like shit.
Yep. So then Junichi heads off on his own, and then we get Joe and Boko talking, because, like I said, they're going to be slightly more the main focus than Junichi is. Yeah. Joe's like, hey, if you have any bullies, let me know and I'll beat the shit out of them for you.
Yeah, I'll ride my bike 6 hours away just so I can do it.
I'm going to set fire to their houses. That's a reference. I do love later on, they're like, yeah, we're just going to set fire to these bullies.
Oh my god, they plan to murder and maim them just for them beating the shit out of them.
Yeah, well, they want their money back, and they're willing to kill these American boys if they don't get it. They come in with a fucking makeshift flamethrower later on. They are ready to kill them.
Explosion bombs.
Yeah, no, they have bombs and they have flamethrowers. They are there for blood.
It's not just they're playing chemical warfare because they are boiling chili peppers, pissing in it.
Yep.
Well, again, two of them do.
This them out for blood. You guys
Because
robbed us
one
and beat the
is
shit out of
too
us.
embarrassed to.
So anyway, then we get the news about
And
the
it
whole
immediately gets
dragon
shut
attack
off.
from the start that we didn't really talk about. And then a color for each person. That sounds racist, but why not? And then we find it.
Free.
Then we get Boko's mom, who is somehow worse animated than the rest of them. How is she worse?
Because she's the worst person.
But
Well,
like,
I take that back. There's somebody way worse later on.
mm-hmm. God, just the way that her character moves. There's something like, again, you can tell that they didn't like. They had a model built, but they're like, we don't really need this part to look very good, so like, we'll move her around a little bit. And when we get her into the kitchen, because that's where she belongs.
Oh my god.
That's
She's a scientist though.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know what she is.
Fuck if I remember.
She's got a commercial though.
Yeah.
And she's gonna beat her son because he didn't watch it.
Yeah. Because she resents him.
Because you know what? He's carefree and wants to have friends. And she's like, no, you don't need friends. All you need is science and be successful.
Get an education. Then we get arguably the best animated character in this show after that, where we get Joe's dad, who in the entire, like, he does like one thing where he brings his drink up to his mouth and then like kind of has it back down here. And he looks better than every other character because he doesn't move.
Well, that and the fact that they colored him properly, like like I don't even know if he's fully like trying to do that CGI like 3D model either.
Yeah, no, like, it's just, and again, it's one motion. He just drinks and then back down, and it looks so good. Like, it looks so much better than every other character. Like the lighting is good. It's so frustrating because again, it just looks good. Again, we get like, oh, the back alley in Shinjuku where everything looks good until we get close to the police. Oh, I noticed what the other problem is. Cars also look bad because they move. But anything that's static looks so good.
It reminds me of like that old cartoon, old anime trope where everything looked good, but you knew something was going to move because it was discolored.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Ball had it real bad because you would see a like matte painting background almost, and then there's something in front of it that just pops out.
Yep. Because it was animated on a separate level, so
yeah.
I totally get what you're like. Old Hanna-Barbera stuff did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, you can tell like right away what's going to be interacted with, which is weird. We also get the bullies for the episode, which are like 4 American teenagers.
They went full racism here.
Oh yeah. Forces the kids to pay tax and beats the shit out of them.
Mentions a bunch of rice, and that's all I'm going to say on camera.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't need that cut out.
Yep.
I've said some horrible things, but I don't need that.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's pretty brutal. Again, do we know when this is set? Because I want to say this is probably set like post World War II, right? But I can't tell is the problem. Like, because the TV looks newer than that in its color. But I also don't know like what Japan's infrastructure was like.
90s, because their Gamera was very Heisei-esque.
See, it feels that way, but at the same point in time, I can't tell when it's set is the problem. Also, these characters look so bad, too. Like, the bully looks really bad, and I know he's sticking around. Like, the main bully. I know all of them look bad, but, like, the one with the longer blonde hair is sticking around. Also, he calls them some pretty fucked up shit and then beats them half to death.
Hell yeah. I mean,
His own
no.
words. Yep.
In the summer of 1989.
Oh,
So I
okay.
was very close.
Okay. Yeah, again, it's just kind of like a weird feeling then. Having them be this, like, oh, we're protecting Japan. Does Japan need protection right then? Maybe. I don't know. I
mean,
felt like
they
they were
kind of
pretty
need it with
powerful.
this whole kaijus.
Yeah, and I guess that's kind of what it's probably setting up. It just felt weird. Yeah, so then this older teen beats the shit out of these kids. They give him a bloody nose, and he just destroys their faces, just destroys them. And robs
there
them.
is a manga of this one too.
See, that doesn't surprise me. That feels like it feels like it should be a manga. And I'm sure it's trying to like replicate what the 2D image looked like using 3D animation, and it just doesn't work. So like when they're not moving, they look good. But the second they start moving, they look really plasticky. Again, probably because trying to mimic 2D animation with 3D animation just doesn't work very well right now.
I saw someone compare the animation, mainly for like the people, to the animation done by Robot Chicken.
Yeah, kind of.
It's that jittery look to it.
Yeah, I can see what you're talking about on that one. Yeah, it's I don't know, it's a little underwhelming in terms of that quality, but yeah. So we had them get robbed, and then they're going to try to get their money back because they need that transponder to keep in touch with each other. So then they come up with a plan of making chemical warfare and making makeshift flamethrowers so they can potentially kill these teenagers. Because again, like you said, they're like filling these chemical bombs with piss and chili powder, chili pepper, like hot sauce, and then I do love when they like accidentally expose themselves, but then they have a fucking flamethrower, and it's like, you're gonna kill someone with this. Like the other one, like they're probably gonna get sick. That will kill a human being if you shoot them with that. You will give someone severe burns by doing that. You are out for blood.
You know what? I honestly I forgot about this because it wasn't that great of an anime.
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck didn't they just do them like they did Godzilla Singular Point? It's the same type of monster design, like animation style, but the people actually look decent.
Again, maybe this is cheaper. Maybe this is trying to more closely replicate what the manga looked like. I don't know. What I do know is now they're going to go to the arcade to try to set fire to a teenage boy. Which is how Junichi like preps himself. They get in there and he pulls out the lighter and fucking hairspray. Like, oh, I'm going to fucking burn you guys. Congratulations. You robbed me. I'm going to give you 3rd-degree burns so you are hospitalized.
So, do you want to know the plot point that I was talking about earlier?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, big spoilers ahead, so pause it here.
Mm-hmm.
Wait 35 seconds. She's a lady.
Boko?
No.
The teenage Brody?
No.
Oh, Gamera?
No, our flamethrower enthusiast.
Oh, okay, huh.
And the bully might fall in love.
Huh. That's weird. All right,
There's
well.
a point where he finds out and he's like, oh my god, thank god.
All right, I mean, he doesn't get to say a thank God. He thought Junichi was a girl at that point. Not
Nope.
a boy at that point. You don't get to say a thank God. It's still you being
No.
gay.
Yep. But no, he's like, really? I never know. I'm in love.
Yeah. So now they're gonna kill the fucking others. They're gonna kill these teenagers from America, of whom they are very stereotypically not Japanese looking, so they can distinguish them.
Yes.
And then dragons appear. Josh, what kaiju are these?
I'd have to it's not Kaios. Who the hell were they?
While he looks for that, these kaiju are red dragon-like creatures with the spear tongues. They're decent. They're like a good starter design for an enemy kaiju.
Oh, they are Gauss.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So they attack the city, and they're just wreaking havoc, and explosions are happening, probably because of the government, and they're getting knocked. The government's getting knocked out of the sky. That they've sent fighter jets in, and they're just getting taken out of the sky by the Gaioses.
Gauss. Because
Uh,
I don't think they're Gaios. I think Gaios is something completely different.
all right, well, that's what they are until we know better. Yeah, so,
No,
all
I lied.
right, what are they?
Fuck it, it's close enough.
All right, so anyway, yeah. They get knocked out of the sky by these dragons. Just tossed around, which, again, they've got like a little bit of a claymation-y feel, but in like a good way, you know? Like, I'm especially looking at like as one eats another like a person, it feels kind of like that, which works.
Until you see there's one scene, there's two of them eating a single person, and he's just still alive, just like, oh no,
Mm-hmm.
don't eat me.
I didn't say that people looked good in that. I'm saying that the kaiju looked good eating people.
Yeah. Okay. You're right.
Yeah, so we get a lot of shocked expressions and characters looking bad as they talk. Looking at you, Junichi.
Yeah.
And
Flamethrower and your lack of piss bombs.
yeah.
Because you were too shy to
Because you didn't
piss in
want
a
to pee.
bucket.
Yep. Yeah.
Because she's the lady.
Yeah. Anyway. So then two of them fly off to attack the boys on top of the building. As we see more of the U.S. Navy, I'm assuming.
Air Force.
Yeah, Air Force. It does mention that. Is they send out more waves of planes to try to wipe out this aerial threat.
And boy, do they not succeed.
Yep. But what does happen is a
Is
different thing is also flying towards Tokyo.
yeah, the big Gaios.
Yeah.
The true Gaios.
Yeah. I mean, also other thing, but yeah.
Yeah.
So we get the planes moving by, which also look really good. It's annoying how good anything that's not alive looks, except for cars, which look like shit. And even then, cars look fine as long as they're far away or not moving. Hell, even like, I'm looking at like a truck behind two humans, that looked good. I cannot figure out how it's just people that look bad. Although I will say, there's two guys who are wearing masks. They look almost passable because you can't see all their face, and the lighting is interesting on them at least.
The one that's in the white and orange.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, they look like they belong in a weird like backrooms video game.
Oh yeah. They have that vibe. Also, again, we get some more people talking to each other, and if you can see their entire face, they look bad if they're moving, but if they're sitting still, not talking, they look great.
God, the scene where they're like, there's a bunch of tanks and they just have that one just like all you see is their jaw moving. It still looks fucking.
Oh, it looks awful. But it's like the weirdest thing because I would say their body looks great. It's just the head that suddenly looks bad because they're talking. Or like when he's holding, okay, the way he's holding the gum also looked weird. Again, I feel like I'm gonna have so many little nitpicks about the people, which is going to be frustrating, but like they're what's holding back this anime.
I was gonna say, if we just cut out the people, yeah, we'd be good.
Yeah, honestly. Which, I mean, they should just lean on that and like more monster stuff. That's what looks good, although that's also probably where a lot of their budget goes because of that. And the people is how they cut money.
You know what? I'm going to say, if you want to watch a good, just monster anime on Netflix, go watch Castlevania.
Castlevania does have good animation.
Oh, it's so good.
Although I'd say there's better animation on it. There's better animation on there. Like I think Cyberpunk's animation is better, but that's also not monsters.
That's why I specified monster.
Yep. I don't know. Kinnikuman has a Dalmatian man called Darmashi Man.
Shit, right.
Because he can't say the L's because Japanese.
Racism.
It leans into that. His name's Darmashi Man because he's a Dalmatian. They could have just called him Dalmatian Man and it would have made sense, but they had to lean on that. Also, Junichi is talking about how they should have sent different planes to fight these monsters.
Well, they should have been aircraft.
God, there's moments where the humans don't look bad, and then they look awful, and I can't figure out what's going on other than like they find a good sweet spot where a human looks normal, and then they move.
There's a scene where they're in the war room and the general's talking, and like he's talking to one of the underlings, and all it does, it turns his face. He has a nose, and then it just becomes Krillin. He has no nose.
But this looks so like the not Gaios shoots its tongue out and hits like a generator, and it's getting electrocuted and screaming as it looks so good. Like fuck, it looks so good. It's so frustrating. Yeah, so then we get like War Room. We get just a bunch of people sitting there talking to each other. And
Sega advertisement.
Yeah. We do indeed get that. We also get the boys and girl go into the arcade to try to hide as the other, not Gaius comes in. And when it does that, they start like crawling around like over the driving game in order to move through this and like try to avoid being attacked. And it's just it works really well, you know.
It does. There's so many references to other games. I mean, besides all the Sega ones that they got the property to.
Snake Man.
The Snake Man, which is Pac-Man, even the design on the front.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Mario reference.
Bomberman's on there too.
Bomberman.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, so then crash, boom, everything gets knocked around, and the two Gaiuses get killed. Not killed, because we see they're fine. One of them has a giant shard of glass through his eye, but whatever. And they go out, the kids go outside and see
something.
Oh, yeah, what?
After they get slammed with all the stuff, they forgot to animate one of the eyes.
Oh.
You can see right through it, it looks like. You can see the wall.
That's a bummer.
Oh, yeah. Nope, they just straight up didn't animate an eye.
Was it the eye that would have been the glass one?
No. Because they showed that one on the ground. This is the one that was up.
Oh, weird. Huh, that's disappointing.
Yeah, they freeze frame it on like for a second too, so.
Yeah, so then we get Gamera coming through and shoots a fireball.
Atomic breath.
Yeah. Lights a bunch of the Gaiuses on fire. Just starts grabbing them out of the air and smashing them, spraying their purple blood everywhere.
Their goo.
Yep. As it's snatching them out of the sky, fighting them as they're shooting their energy beams at them. Honestly, pretty solid all around. I
will say this is probably the best shot in this episode. It's just the look up, the panorama up to Gamera.
Yeah. There's like a few really good shots when Gamera comes in. Like, again, you can tell where the money went and where it didn't go. It didn't go towards the humans. It went towards the Kaiju, but specifically Gamera, because Gamera looks really good.
It's so good.
Like, I'm not going to say it's perfect, but again, you can see, like, that's where the money went. Making sure that model looks good, which, shocker. In the Gamera anime, they want Gamera to look good.
Wish they would have done that with Godzilla Singular Point.
So anyway, then the boys and Junichi throw their chemical bombs at the glass shard Gaius, and three of the American boys leave Brody, the American bully, behind to die.
They're friends.
I mean, I think they just hung out.
They got free tax money from them.
Yep. And then Gamera stomps the shit out of that one Gaius and its head comes off.
Oh, it's so good.
Gamera's like, I got you because I'm friends with all children.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with you three, and that one I'll tolerate, but he will eventually be my enemy. Also, Brody pissed himself.
God,
and his brain's broken now. We forgot to
mention that earlier, too. We get the joke about Joe pissing himself.
Yep.
In front of a bully, and now it's the other way around.
Yep.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah. And then we get Big Gaius.
Big Gaius I love.
Yeah. you can tell that had like a good amount of money going to it too, because it's not crazy different from the small ones, but it's different enough and it looks really good. Although they limit how much of him you actually see this episode.
Yeah.
Because I think, when he pops up, we have less than 10 minutes left of the episode. We also get like a little more of the, oh, hey, we get like, oh, here's the Americans and they're talking about Kaiju. Because the Japanese love it, so I guess we got to remember. What are they called? They're called kaiju, sir. All right, cool.
My God.
We get clips of Gaios just flying on screen over and over again, repeating. We get the tanks that look really good from afar.
They do. And then they move.
Yep. Again, that's the death of this show. And then the characters move, and then the thing moves.
We're like, yeah, we really like this. It looks good. And then they move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then Gamera and Big Gaios fight. Tries using its not atomic breath. Fires off 3 blasts, and the third one clips the Gaios' wing before it goes in for the attack. And then we get the close-up fight. Well, semi-close-up, where they're firing at each other and also grappling. Again, I would say this point in the episode onward, it's just good. Like, the animation looks amazing. The way it's trying to like tear Gaios apart looks good. The way they're like the Gaios keeps like digging its claws in, and we get sprays of Gamera's blood.
His Atlantean blood.
Yep. Or like he digs his thumb into the eye of the Gaios, and we get that spray of its purple blood. It's so good. Like, it just looks really good from this point onward. Like, if the entire episode had been like this, would have been amazing. Wouldn't have had any complaints. Probably would have called this one of the best things we've watched. But we have the humans for most of the episode.
It's the downfall of most kaiju properties anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're -1, then it's one of the best things, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Oddly enough.
That's because it understood make a good movie that has Godzilla in it. Yeah, we get the government flying in, trying to take out Gamera because they don't understand that he's the friend of all children.
Yeah, they don't understand that he is welcome within 500 yards of a school.
Yeah. And then he flies off in his fucking energy jet mode.
Which is... I never understood just like why. Why does he just actually have jets?
Because it's dope as fuck. And then Brody freaks out.
Why would you do that? Why would you scare us like that?
Yep. Oh boy, this guy's his brain's all broke. It's all fucked up on the inside now.
He peed himself.
Yep.
He's gone crazy. It's time to old yellow his ass.
And then the kids run away. Because they don't want to deal with the government.
Oh, but the government gonna deal with them.
Including a secret agent.
I hope they won't be evil.
Yep. I'm sure they won't. Yeah, that was the first episode of Gamera Rebirth. Again, there's a lot of potentially good stuff in here, and I'm curious if like the manga is really good.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering that now too. Like, there is a lot of goodness from what I've watched. I haven't seen the last episode.
Yeah,
But
I wonder if this is like a situation where maybe it would be a really cool experience if I read the manga and only watched the kaiju fights. Like if that's like the way, if that's the fucked up way to do it, is like it should have been a motion comic that had fully animated segments instead.
actually, I'm looking up the manga right now.
How's it look?
Not too dissimilar, but the people definitely look better.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, not the best proportional to 3D,
hmm,
but 2D looks fine.
yeah, okay. I mean, that makes sense though. Again, I feel like these designs would look better if they weren't moving, which most of the time when they weren't, they looked better.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, you're
Any
here
final?
first. People suck.
Yep. Any final thoughts before we call this one?
No. I mean, God, I want to get to some of the other monster fights later on because they are good.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, I'm looking forward to it because I know that, like, the fight between Gaios was really good, and I can't imagine the other fights are going to be bad.
No.
Okay. Well, with that, tune in next time where we will talk about the second episode of Gamera Rebirth. Bye bye.
Bye.